And now the Queen of Soul, Aretha Franklin.
Hello, you ready?
Where are you from originally?
Originally, I'm born and raised in Detroit, Michigan. Not that far from the Hitsville Museum and Aretha Franklin's father's church on Linwood. I'm right down the street from there.
That's incredible. How much do you think that geographical location of where you grew up influenced you and your taste for music, but also wanting to be a performer?
Oh, it influenced me a lot because I came after the Motown era, but my mother and my aunt and uncle, they were all a part of that during that time. So they were always telling me about how much fun it was, and they would just sing like a cappella in the house. So it was embedded into me at a young age.
Ain't never, no, no, loved a man the way that I loved you.
You've both been a lead in so many productions, but you've also done some backup singing as well. What have you learned by being backup to some of the biggest stars, and what do you think it taught you as a lead singer yourself?
You know, I loved it when I sang back up for different stars. And also, I love going to see other stars because they've been doing it for a long time and you can learn from them by watching them, their professionalism, how they carry themselves on
Who were
stage.
some of the more impressionable stars, and what did you learn from them that sort of influenced the way that you carry yourself?
Gladys Knight, worked back up for her. And she was just very gracious to our audience. And I realized she was just telling a story and it just brought people in. And I worked with Wayne Newton and he was funny. So I've learned different things from different people. I never got a chance to meet Aretha, just shaking her hand when I was volunteering for the Detroit Institute of Arts, the DIA. Back in the day, I was a young teenager, but I just shook her hand and that's it. We never had a conversation, but I've had friends that have sang backup for her back in the day.
And what did they say that was like?
Oh, I mean, the notes had to be to perfection. And like singing with one of her backup singers, if you would sit next to her, she would make sure everyone's singing the right note. She could hear a bad note and know it was coming around on this side. She would know exactly where it was coming from. I'm just glad I have been working with people that they're at the top of their game, you know. And yeah, and so I did not know that I sound so much like Aretha until people had to tell me when I joined this musical called 60. It was a 60s musical called Beehive
How long have you been in Vegas?
since 1995. And that's when I came with the show Beehive. And I came
And
as a swing because I was doing Beehive in Detroit, Michigan. And so I came here because they knew I can do Patti LaBelle, I can do Diana Ross. I even did like Annette Funicello or Lulu or Petula Clark. Anybody that got sick, that went down, I was there to cover it. And then that one day, they heard me singing Aretha song versus the girl that they picked to be Aretha. They switched it right then and there and said, no, you need to be the lead. So I went from a swing to the lead.
so this show you crafted over several years because you've been
Yes.
doing a tribute to Aretha for probably decades. And it's what do you hope to have um, what's kind of story or what impression do you hope people will leave after hearing this selection of great songs?
I want them to think back like where they were and what they were doing, like the good times. Probably the times that they didn't have to pay any bills. Just forget about it. For that one moment, I want you to sit back and enjoy, laugh, and let me just take you back to that era. No matter what era you were raised in, Aretha's music, it touches your heart and your soul. And what really makes me happy is when these teenagers that don't know anything about Aretha, but they came with their grandparents or their parents. They're like, oh, they dragged me here. I didn't want to be here. But a teenager would get it and say, oh my gosh, my boyfriend broke up with me last week. I understand what that song means. You touch my heart with that. I'm gonna download that on my on my phone now. So that's great. If I could teach the younger generation what Aretha meant to the older generation, and they get what she meant. She was about heartbreak and falling in love, and you know, just breakups. My man left me, just like an old country song. You know, we have a lot of that in common. You know, so if I can give them a good feeling, that would be great. That's what I want them to leave with. I want them dancing in the aisles. That actually sometimes that happens during the orchestra. They just want to get up and dance, because that whole the aisle way is our time to get up and have a good time. And that's what I want to bring to everyone.